So, I was asked to do a tutorial on Imagine by John Lennon, but the David Archuleta version. So, the version that was played in the background while David Archuleta sang on American Idol. So, here it is. I don't use a pick, at least not for this song. I try not to, I don't really like them. For people who use a pick, it should be pretty easy. And for those of you who don't, I'll tell you my picking pattern, I guess, like what fingers I'm using. So, let's move in a little bit. The chords, at least for the verse, I guess, the intro, are D. If you don't know, D is, I use my index finger on the G string, which is the third string from the bottom, on the second fret, ring finger on the second string up, the B string, on the third fret, and then your middle finger, on the E string on the second fret. And then you really only want to hit this string, this string, this string, this. So the bottom four. That's a D chord. You really need to show me. So D, and G. The G is kind of confusing in the intro. I'll go into that later. So, and A. A is, well, for this intro, it's going to be, just use these two fingers, like an A suspended 4 or something. These two fingers, both on the second fret, on the third string from the top, and the fourth string from the top. So the D and the G strings. It's kind of an open sound. So you're going to start out with D. You're just going to hold the D chord. And so I've got the D chord. With this hand, you're going to hit, so it's going to be G, not G, D, G, B, E. So before you hit the E, you're going to pick up your middle finger from the E string. Okay, so then you're going to hit the A sesame. And then you're going to hammer on the second fret. So, and then B, G. So, okay, that's the first part. And then you're going to switch to that A chord. No, you're not. I lied. So, for the A chord, I actually made a mistake. If you do what I told you and bring it each one string down, so you're actually going to have on the second fret on the G and B string, and you're going to play D, G, and then B and E at the same time, and then G. So that's me. Sorry, I'll move it over more. So from this hand, the beginning looks like this hand. So I played at least. So I actually used my index finger and my middle finger on those two strings. And then this is the slightly confusing G. So a G chord usually is this. If you don't know, it doesn't really matter. For this one, you're going to put your middle finger on the E string, the low E string, on the third fret. Your index finger is going to bar the next three strings. So, so this is on the E string, then you're going to bar the A, D, and G strings. And you're going to hit, so remember this, and you're going to play E, A, and then D and G at the same time, and then D and G at the same time again, but you're going to lift off your index finger. So that's going to go from this hand, and from this hand, whole thing together is going to be. Okay, and then there's a little pickup, I guess. So that's going to be open on this string, the A string, and then hammer on to the 2nd fret, and then open on the D string. And you don't have to pick up.